Alright guys, so I'm going to be talking about my F4 uh, G/F version Phantom. This is supposed to be the Wild Weasel. This is the 1/32nd scale Revell version that I just recently bought. You've probably seen my review video about this whole thing in my channel, on my YouTube channel, and if you haven't, please check it out below the link. I will be putting it in there. I just kind of briefly talk about, well, not briefly, like I think it's 20 some minutes, just a little over 20 minutes about everything that comes in this kit and all the parts and how well I thought that they are detailed and molded. But anyway, other than that, I have gotten, as you see, the whole cockpit done here. This is the whole front nose end. You have the cockpit in here, the pilot and the guy, the weapon system operator, you can call it. And then for this version, I was thinking about building the G version, but then I decided that the G version I'm not really interested in. In the G version, I can't have the radar nose open. There is one piece in there that you can see right here that I didn't know what it was for, but then I asked around on Facebook and then found out that it was for the radar, for the nose radar for the F4F version of this kit, not the G version, because the G version has a slightly longer under bottom here that's below the nose, instead of the F4F has a smaller cannon version where the cannon was actually mounted in here. So on this version, I'm going to have the nose open and the radar showing, just because I think that it would be cool, and I haven't done that to any of my other kits. And I'm going to be putting a little more detail in there before I actually paint it and color it in. But as you've seen in my previous video, probably, I did do another video of this. Let me focus it in here. You can see that all the wiring in here that I've done for right behind the pilot. It all runs down, and it's all lead wire. If you haven't checked out my video on the lead wire and how to use it and how to manipulate it and bend it and stuff, then I'll also have that video in the description below. But other than that, you can see that I've bent all of this. I did actually drill holes. These are small pieces of sprue. Let me get a paintbrush. But all this here, these are small pieces of sprue that I actually cut and then glued on there, and then I stuck the wires in here. I bought the wires from Bass Pro Shops. They're all lead wires. They're meant for fly tying, but I actually use them to detail this cockpit. I like lead wire because it bends really easily, and it doesn't bounce back. Once you bend it, it stays bent, and you can glue it with super glue real easy, no mess, no nothing. But I will be painting all this. I have not gotten to painting all of it. And back here as well, as you can see, just smaller parts of it. I do have the seats done for this thing as well, as you can see. This is the F4 Martin Baker, I think, ejection seat, and I do have it done and painted and everything. I did add my own Tamiya tape harness and my the ejection pull, or whatever this one is, right here as well, the yellow and black, as you can see. And I did use right here, I don't know if you can see, just right in here, the little belt buckles, or the harness buckles. I used wire for that as well, and all the detail wiring off the side over here. Let me zoom in so I can show you. Right here, yep, all the detail wiring for over here. Those are all, that's all, some of that is lead wire, and some of it is just regular wire, because I didn't have lead wire at the time. So is all of this. but I just put extra detail into it. And I also cut off the extra piece that was running along this pole over here. So I got rid of that because in the other ones it didn't have it on there. So I decided that I would get rid of it and not have it on there, just because no other Phantom ejection seats had them. But overall, as you can see, I have gotten the whole nose glued on there, and I'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about this thing, I guess. Gluing this wasn't a problem, gluing it together. There are no fit issues with this nose, although you get just slight fit issues right along the bottom here, because this is one whole piece that runs all the way back and then glues on. But other than that, you do have to be careful when you're gluing the bucket, the cockpit bucket in there, because the front panel, it has to be leaning forward a little bit. I don't know if you can see over here. The front panel over here, gotta focus it. There we go. The front panel over here, it has to be leaning forward and not back. Because if it leans back, then it doesn't attach to the to this whole top piece right here. It kind of sits forward of it, so you have to put it back, like jam it back in there. So that was hard to do. I made that mistake, but then I fixed it really quick. But other than that, you just have to be careful when you're gluing the whole cockpit tub with the two pieces. You have to glue, you have to put down one end and then glue the tub. Let me focus it. Glue the tub in there, and then after that, lay down the next piece and just kind of just wiggle around and make sure it fits. And use strong glue, because I've tried super glue and I've tried the Tamiya Extra Thin, I've tried the Testors cement as well, and it doesn't really work because it's kind of a tight fit. So what I like to use for the cockpit or the gluing the tub is the I don't know if you could see, this is the Testors, what is that, cement for plastic models. It's just tube cement. It's like a glue. If you don't know, if you haven't used it, it's like a glue. It's clear, and it's like a putty, like a really thin putty, but like any other glue, although it doesn't harden like super glue and kind of come out in chunks. It just has a smooth flow. And I put a toothpick over it just to, because the lid would just glue itself on there, and then the tube right here, the nozzle right here, it would get clogged. So I just decided to stick a toothpick in here to get it to, so it doesn't clog up in there, and so the tube, so the lid for that thing doesn't actually stick on there and glue itself on there. So I did that. And for this whole body, let me lay down the seats. For the whole body, it was a fine fit as well. Put these aside. For this body, it was also an okay fit, but I did get crap. The fire alarms are going off. There isn't a fire. My brother or parents are probably cooking something, so, and the oven is smoking up. But anyway, talking about this again, it was no problem gluing this whole thing together, but you do have to be careful gluing the inside, engines in there, just getting that to stay in there and gluing it together. The thing is, I don't like, it doesn't have, this Phantom version, it doesn't actually have the engine intake, the whole nozzle that runs into it. It just has this ugly outer wall on there, and then all that attaches to it is the front intake. And then, so the thing is, you can see you could see all this plastic on all that black and where the engines separate. I mean, they're far enough back so you notice, I mean, you don't really notice it too bad, but if you look into it really closely, you can notice that all this plastic just shows in here. So I just kind of painted it white in here. I painted it a gloss white and then painted the back panel in here black. And the engine's the color that it was supposed to be. So that when I actually do paint and do put on the front intake portions of it, I'm also going to paint it white, and it kind of blends in to this whole portion right here, and it's not noticeable as much. But for this version, you do get these are two halves here, and then the whole wings are also two halves that run along here, and you do have to put in the ends on each side, and the whole bottom is actually just one piece. But for the tail, you do get well, not really half a tail, but you get this portion of the tail, and then that top piece here you do have to put on. This is the F4F version that I put on there because I'm actually building the F version of this kit. I'm not building the G version, although I am putting on the G version decals for this thing. So it's really not going to make sense in some ways, but I guess if you're not a plane expert, you're not going to notice it, right? But other than that, the gluing issues, they weren't huge. I had to use rubber bands, and as you can see, tape all along here, the wing, to hold the wings. And oh, one mistake I did make for this. Before you glue these wings together, the halves, after you lay down the first piece and then glue the wings together on top, make sure you drill holes into these pieces, because I did forget to drill holes over here, and luckily enough I did kind of see where the ejector pin marks came off of, so it left a little gray spot, and I just drilled the holes on there. But yeah, make sure you don't forget to drill all these holes in the wings before you actually attach the halves together over here. But other than that, it's been okay, I guess. It's taken me a while. I don't know. I've just been busy, so I'm pretty much just gluing everything, and I will be adding more detail, just wiring and hydraulic pipes and things like that inside the wheel wells and inside the air brakes as well on both sides, and the intake, the wheel well, for the nose wheel well, I will be adding wiring for this portion as well. Let me zoom in and focus it. As you can see over here, it does have ejector pin marks all along here. That's why I put putty in there. I put the perfect plastic putty in there and just waited for it and kind of just wiped it off with a wet Q-tip and made it flat. You have to get rid of those ejector pin marks, because if you do paint it, and when you do paint it white, it's going to look ugly. They're going to be noticeable. But other than that, it's fine. I am putting pretty much everything together before I paint it, so that I can just sand it up and putty it up and get rid of all those nasty seam lines, mold lines, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, other than that, what else do I have to say about this thing? Oh, for the nose, I am using this smaller F version gun. This is the front mount. Right, it goes right. You get two versions of this. You get this part, which is the smaller one, and then you get a slightly chunkier one that comes out like way up to here. So I'm deciding to use the smaller one because I want the gun, or I want the radar nose to be open. So I'm using that for it, so I could just open it like this, and then close it, or just open it and leave it open, not be able to close it. But my other one, I mean, it sticks way out here, and you can tell that there's no way that with that thing sticking out, it's going to be able to open or close. So I decided to use this smaller one. So I'm building the F version of this kit. What else? What else? What else? What else? And you get your wing halves for this. This is also the F version. It says on there, I don't know why it says that. It's the only wing halves that you get, but it wants you to put it on there. So I guess we're just gonna put it on there. But this is the F version. These are the wing tips for the end of it that go on like this. So I'm just gonna kind of stick them on there, and I am gonna put the air slats on there as well for the leading edges of these parts. Other than that, I did talk about the gluing option, or the problems with the whole fit and the whole front section over here before you do glue on the nose. And the whole kit, it just slides in like this, as you can see. So it's like a half, I guess you can say, to it. Trying to get it in there so I can show what the fit is like. It does, after you do get the whole body together, the fit for this is not a huge problem at all. It does fit very well, as you can see right on the bottom right here. It's not a big deal. And for the nose as well, right there, just gonna get rid of that gap, just slight gap in there, putty it up and sand it down and get rid of that whole thing. But other than that, everything fits together. And I will be, after I have everything glued together, I will be priming it all. I will not put the tail fins on quite yet. I will be putting them on at the end because I do have to paint this back portion. Varying colors of Alclad right in here under the exhausts right here. You can see. So I will be painting all this with Alclad, and then I will be sticking the tail fins on there. And this is where I've gotten so far, and it's been taking a while just because I've been busy with other stuff and other processes. So I will be posting this on YouTube and on my channel, and I will be posting, just putting the links for the lead wiring if you want to see that. How to put all that in there in the whole cockpit, and how to detail it the way you want it. Make sure you bring up reference photos though for the aircraft that you're building. It doesn't have to be the F4 Phantom, but make sure you do bring up reference photos for whatever aircraft you are building, so that you can put the right wiring in there. Because I like to make my aircraft as accurate as possible. But other than that, like I said, I will be putting the links of the wiring in there. And what other thing was I gonna put in there? Oh yeah, the link for the review about this whole kit. But other than that, I will keep you guys updated as I get further into the build, and for each process that I do. I'll keep posting on Facebook on the Scale Aircraft page, as well as my page, which is the Scale Military Models. If you don't know that, go check it out. It's just Scale Military Models, and if you join it, I request like really quickly like that. I just see somebody requesting, I let them in right away. I also have a what is it called? An administrator or a monitor person who can also let other people in there. So you'll be let in there pretty quickly, and we do share some really nice ideas and photos of our builds, and exchange information and everything. But one more thing before I close this video, I'd like to show you my next kit. This is the, hold on, not quite big enough. This is the, as you can see, not quite big enough, but the P-47 and Thunderbolt that I will be building next. So, and I'll be doing it in these markings. Just, I thought I bought myself an actual a D version of this, but this is actually the N version of this, and I got it from Michael's in Spokane for $24, but I had a 40% off coupon, so it was $10 off. That's 40% of 24, so I got it for actually $15, $15, something like that. But anyway, this is going to be the kit I'm going to build next. I've always loved the Thunderbolt. It's one of my favorite. Probably my favorite is the D version. Not the glass, not the bubble top though. The Razorback, I guess. I think that's the Razorback P47 Razorback, with the kind of slanted wings on it. But I will be doing this kit, and I will also be showing every video that, as I get through the process, every video about this whole thing, and keep you guys updated. So thanks for watching, and I'll let you know as my process grows and as I go farther along in it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.